What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of my channel. My name is Yangji, and today I will be talking to you guys about 3 things to be mindful of before driving Uber full-time. Now, this brings me back to one of my pastimes for when I was driving an Uber full-time after I quit my corporate job to actually start my own business, to fund my business, and to pay for living expenses. And I've done it for almost 2 years, so I thought I wanted to share some of my experience with you guys on what to be mindful of. Now, before we begin today, if you guys have not yet already, please subscribe to my channel, as I will be coming up with new content just like this on how to make it as an entrepreneur and on your own. And if you guys are looking forward to signing up as an Uber driver, you guys can use my referral link below, and you guys will get a bonus, so don't miss out on that. Now let's dive right in today. So I have listed 3 things that you really want to be mindful of before you start driving for Uber full-time. Now there's going to be a difference between driving part-time for Uber and driving full-time for Uber. Now, with that said, driving part-time for Uber, there's a lot less pressure because chances are when you're driving part-time for Uber, you're really looking to get that supplemental income. Versus if you're driving full-time for Uber, you're really depending on the full-time income that you're driving Uber for. So, when you're driving part-time Uber, you get to start whenever you want, and you probably get to stop whenever you want. However, when you're driving Uber full-time, sure, you get to start whenever you want, but you also want to start strategically too. So, you kind of have to be on call during a time that you have set aside for yourself, which we'll get to on point 1. And you don't really get to end whenever you want, really, because chances are you're going to have a quota of the amount of money that you want to earn per day or per week or per month. So you really want to work towards that and be committed on working towards that every day. So let's begin with point 1. Point 1 would be, you're always going to be on call. Well, I'm saying this because, sure, you get to start whenever you want, whenever you're driving Uber full-time, but you want to start strategically too, because, for example, you know that a good time for you to drive would be in the afternoon around 4 o'clock. So if around 4 o'clock and you're waiting for that call, and you're just ready to drop whatever you're doing at the time as soon as you get a decent ride at that time. And that was basically my experience. I would be trying to get that 4 o'clock slot to start my ride. And up until that point, I would be just doing whatever I'm doing, working on my business. I would have the Uber app on, and I would look for that decent ride to come along to actually start my day. And so, in a sense, you kind of have to be on call, because as soon as that decent ride comes in, you're going to have to just drop whatever you're doing and get that ride, because sometimes that ride comes along once in a day, sometimes that ride comes more than once in a day, but you don't want to take any chances, because when you get that ride and you get that rhythm going, that's how you make your day. Because for me, at least, my first ride is the ride that's going to give me a very good start and probably a good portion of my of the fares I want to earn that day. To give you some perspective, my quota before was to earn $100 in fares every day, because I'm trying to just earn about $3,000 for the whole entire month. And, having that first ride and having a good first ride will give me about $30 to $50. So that would make up for half of my day's quota. So it's a very important ride for me. So that's why I wanted to outline that the first ride, you really want to be on call. And of course, once you're out there, you just want to you probably want to continue doing rides anyways, unless you have some kind of strategy on what kind of rides to not take and what kind of rides to take. So that's entirely up to you. And if you guys have any feedback on that or questions, leave that in the video comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And with that said, even though you're always on call, you are still going to have a lot of flexibility in choosing, when you want to start, like I said. So I'm sure there's going to be some of you guys who's going to have higher quotas than I do, which is $3,000 a month, and therefore you guys are probably going to be even more on call, versus, if some of you guys are doing part-time, you guys are probably going to be less on call. But for me, it was like I just picked a time slot, so it was in the afternoon, 4 o'clock to 8 o'clock, and I would choose to be on call around 4 o'clock, and, if I can get one earlier, that's fine. If I can get one later, I'll be a little bit more nervous, but, that's how it kind of is, but, it's still a very flexible gig, so, in that sense, I wouldn't be discouraged about it. Number 2 is you could expect some late nights. So this goes to saying, because you have a quota to meet every day, or every week at least, and if you're having a slow day, you're gonna have to stay out longer than used to. And depending on what time slot that you actually start your day with, you may or may not have late nights, but for me at least, I would start in the afternoon slot. So there are some days, and there have been days, when I don't make that quota and nighttime comes, and I would find myself out there still waiting for a ride to actually complete my daily quota. And therefore, sometimes you would wait around areas such as LAX, the airport, and around later at night, and you get a really long ride, and you can easily, be driving later into the night, but, maybe with a trade-off of a pretty good fare as well. So that is something to expect, because you're going to have some slow days, but for the most part, I would say 70% of the time or above, I do finish within a certain amount of time that I allotted for myself. So about 5 to 6 hours a day, just out there on the road. Not always driving, of course. Sometimes you're going to be parked, sometimes you're going to be eating, and sometimes you're just waiting for a ride. So, you're not always driving for 5-6 hours, but I'm typically out there for 5-6 hours before I come back home. Number 3 is an obvious one. You're going to be putting a lot of miles on your car, especially if you're driving full-time, because you're out there, and I believe the rate currently is you get paid about $1 per mile, minus Uber's cut, which be, I'm not sure, I think it's still less than $1. So that's really the base rate that you're actually getting paid per mile. So chances are, if you want to get paid about $3,000, at least in my case, I'm expecting to actually put 3,000 miles on my car at the very least to actually earn the quota that I'm trying to reach for. And this may or may not be true, but on average, that's usually the case, because sometimes you get that surge ride and you get like 1.5 of the base rate for every mile that you take. So that's good for you, but I'm not sure if you're going to get those rides like every time. So, that is something to be very mindful of, but I'm sure it's going to be an obvious one for you as well. So you're going to depreciate your car, but, you do get to write that off at the end of the year for taxes. So it's something that you want to be mindful about, but also don't let that discourage you from driving, because I've done it, and, it's worked out alright for me. So these are my 3 points when it comes to driving for Uber full-time. And if you guys have any thoughts about these 3 points, or any other thoughts, please leave it in the video comments below. I would love to hear your thoughts. And if you guys are planning to drive for Uber, use my referral link below again, so you guys don't miss out on that bonus. And I'll see you guys next time.